Maya was a kind and wise woman who had lived in her neighborhood for many years. People in her community respected her for her calm nature and the way she always helped others. Even though she was elderly, she moved with confidence, using her cane to walk slowly but steadily. On this particular Saturday morning, she decided to visit the local grocery store. She liked shopping there because it was small, friendly, and familiar. She knew the staff by name, and they often greeted her with warm smiles. When Maya reached the store, she noticed that things felt a little different. A new manager, Mark, was standing near the front, giving instructions to the employees. He was young and seemed serious. Maya had not met him before, but she could tell he was strict and careful about rules. She smiled politely at him, hoping for a friendly greeting, but he barely noticed her. She moved forward slowly, holding her basket, and tried to stay calm as the store buzzed with activity. The store was busy that morning. Shoppers walked up and down the aisles, picking fruits, vegetables, and other items. The sound of carts rolling over the floor mixed with soft music playing in the background. Maya enjoyed being around people and observing the small things in life. She greeted a few familiar staff members who nodded and smiled back at her. She felt at ease as she walked toward the candy display near the checkout area. Maya reached to pick up a small box of candies for her granddaughter. As she moved, her cane accidentally brushed against the display, causing a few candies to fall to the floor. She gasped softly, bending slightly to pick them up. She felt a little embarrassed and wanted to apologize. Before she could say anything, she heard a loud voice. "Watch where you're going," the new manager, Mark, shouted. His voice was sharp and harsh, cutting through the chatter in the store. Maya froze for a moment, startled by his sudden anger. She had not expected anyone to speak to her like that, especially in front of other customers. She looked up at him, her eyes calm but questioning. "I am very sorry," she said softly. "It was an accident. I didn't mean to." Before she could finish, Mark stepped closer, clearly annoyed. In a shocking moment, he slapped her hand, the one holding the candies. Maya's eyes widened, but she didn't shout or show anger. She simply looked at him calmly, her heart beating faster but her voice steady. "This is not right," she said quietly but with firmness. People around the store had stopped what they were doing. Some customers gasped while others just watched silently. The atmosphere in the store changed immediately. Maya straightened her back, standing tall despite the incident. She could feel the eyes of the staff and other customers on her. She did not want to make a scene, but she knew she could not ignore what had happened. Respect, she believed, was important for everyone, no matter their age or position. Maya took a deep breath and decided that she would address this situation calmly and wisely. She looked around at the people who had stopped to watch. Some seemed unsure of what to do, while others whispered quietly to each other. Maya smiled gently, trying to reassure them. "It's okay," she said softly. "Sometimes people make mistakes, but we must speak up when something is not fair." Her voice, though quiet, carried strength and confidence. Maya knew she needed to take action, but she also wanted to handle it in the right way. She decided to ask for the store owner directly. She believed that if she spoke to the right person, the situation could be resolved fairly. Customers nodded to her silently, and a few employees looked worried, realizing that the manager had gone too far. Maya took a step toward the store office, determined to handle the matter with grace and courage. Even though Maya was elderly, her presence in the store that day felt powerful. People realized that age and size did not matter when someone stood for what was right. Maya's calm yet firm manner made the store feel still, as if everyone was waiting to see what would happen next. The story of the day had begun, and everyone in the store could sense that this was a moment that would not be forgotten soon. Maya moved carefully toward the store office. Her cane tapped softly on the floor, each sound echoing slightly in the busy store. She felt the eyes of the customers and staff following her every step. Some whispered to each other, unsure how to respond. Everyone could sense that something important was happening. Maya was calm, but there was a quiet strength about her that made people stop and pay attention. As she reached the counter near the office, Mark, the new manager, noticed her moving forward. His expression changed from annoyance to frustration. "Where do you think you're going?" he snapped. Maya paused, taking a deep breath before answering. "I would like to speak with the store owner about what just happened," she said politely, her voice steady and clear. Mark frowned, stepping closer to block her path. "You don't need to bother the owner over a small accident," he said sharply. His tone was harsh, almost intimidating. Maya looked up at him without fear. "It was not just a small accident," she replied calmly. "Respect is important for everyone. How you treated me was not fair." Customers around the counter began to murmur. Some shook their heads at Mark, while others glanced nervously at Maya. The air felt tense, as though the entire store was holding its breath. Maya did not shout or make any sudden movements. She simply stood tall and looked Mark directly in the eyes, showing that she would not be ignored. Mark's anger seemed to grow. He raised his voice, scolding Maya in front of everyone. "I am the manager here. You should not question me," he shouted. The words echoed through the store, drawing more attention. People stopped what they were doing and turned to watch the confrontation. Maya remained composed. She knew that responding with anger would only make things worse. Instead, she stayed calm and collected. Then, in a shocking and unexpected move, Mark slapped Maya's hand again, the one holding her shopping basket. The small candies scattered on the floor once more. Gasps filled the air, and a few customers took a step back in surprise. Maya did not cry out. She simply withdrew her hand slowly, her expression calm but firm. The staff looked on, unsure what to do, while the customers whispered in disbelief. Maya knew that she had to act, but she also knew that reacting angrily would not help. She straightened her back and spoke in a clear, measured voice. "This is not acceptable," she said. "No one should be treated this way. Everyone deserves respect, no matter their age or who they are." Her words carried authority and quiet confidence, making the staff and customers realize that she was serious. A young employee named Sarah stepped forward nervously. "Miss Maya, I'm so sorry," she said softly. "I didn't know how to stop him." Maya smiled gently at her. "Thank you," she replied. "You did the right thing by being kind, but we must all stand up for what is right." Sarah nodded, feeling encouraged by Maya's calm strength. Maya then looked around at the customers. "Please understand," she said. "I do not want to make trouble, but fairness and respect must be part of any store or workplace. We all have the right to be treated kindly." People began to whisper among themselves, some nodding in agreement. It was clear that Maya's words had touched them, and the mood in the store shifted from tension to quiet support. She then turned her attention back to Mark, who looked flustered and unsure. "I would like to speak with the store owner immediately," Maya said. "This cannot be ignored." Mark opened his mouth to argue, but the customer's watchful eyes and Maya's calm authority made him hesitate. He realized that continuing his behavior could lead to serious consequences. Maya took another deep breath, steadying herself. She knew the owner, Mr. Benson, would listen and understand. She had always respected him and trusted his fairness. Today she would show that courage and wisdom could make a difference. The story was far from over, but this tense moment had already captured the attention of everyone in the store. The small office door opened, and the staff started moving toward it to call Mr. Benson. Maya waited patiently, her calm presence filling the room. The confrontation had begun, and everyone knew that it would change the course of the day. Maya stood quietly near the counter, her hand resting on her cane. The small candies from earlier lay scattered across the floor, but she did not bother picking them up yet. Her focus was entirely on what needed to happen next. She could feel the weight of the room, the eyes of the staff and customers upon her, waiting to see how she would respond. Despite what had happened, Maya remained calm, her expression composed and strong. She knew that anger could make people react in ways they might regret, so she chose patience and wisdom. Her voice, when she spoke, was soft but firm. "This is not about candies or accidents," she said. "It is about respect. Every person deserves to be treated kindly, no matter their age or position. No one should be spoken to harshly or touched in anger." Customers nodded quietly, some murmuring their agreement. A few employees shifted nervously, realizing that they had witnessed something they could not ignore. Even Mark, the manager, seemed to hesitate, his frustration now mixed with uncertainty. Maya did not scold him or raise her voice. She believed that leadership came from calm authority, not shouting or fear. Her words carried weight because they were honest, fair, and strong. A young cashier named Daniel spoke softly to her. "Miss Maya, should we call the owner?" Maya looked at him and smiled gently. "Yes," she said. "The owner is someone who understands fairness. He will listen and make the right decision." Daniel quickly moved to the phone while Maya continued to address the small crowd forming near the counter. She turned her attention to the other customers. who had paused their shopping to watch the scene unfold. "I do not want to create trouble," she said kindly. "But what happened must be seen and corrected. We all deserve to be in places where we feel safe and respected. When someone fails to treat others properly, it is important to speak up. Standing silently only allows unfairness to continue." Some customers whispered to each other, nodding in agreement. A few elderly shoppers looked relieved that someone had spoken up, and some younger customers felt inspired by Maya's courage. Even the employees who had been unsure moments before now stood a little taller, recognizing that someone's dignity had been challenged, and action was necessary. Maya turned back toward Mark, who was still standing nearby, looking frustrated and unsure. She did not accuse him with anger. Instead, she spoke clearly. "Mr. Mark, you must understand that leadership is not about power or control. Leadership is about respect, fairness, and guiding people with kindness. When a manager treats someone poorly, it affects everyone around them." Her words were not loud, but they were direct. Mark opened his mouth to argue, but Maya remained steady. She did not move or raise her voice. She simply looked at him calmly, showing that she would not back down. The room grew quieter, as if everyone had realized that this was a turning point. Maya's calm strength seemed to fill the space, and even Mark could not find a proper response. By now, the owner, Mr. Benson, had arrived. He walked briskly into the store, concern clear on his face. Maya greeted him politely. "Mr. Benson, thank you for coming. I need to speak with you about how your manager treated me." Mr. Benson's eyes widened slightly as he glanced at the scattered candies and the tense manager. "I understand," he said calmly. "Please tell me everything." Maya began explaining the incident, her voice steady and detailed. She described how the accident had happened, how Mark had shouted at her, and how he had slapped her hand. She did not exaggerate, and she did not show anger. Her words were simple, honest, and clear. Mr. Benson listened carefully, nodding occasionally, clearly processing the situation. Customers and staff watched in silence as Maya spoke. Her calm courage and clarity impressed everyone. It was clear that she was not seeking revenge. She was seeking fairness. She wanted to ensure that respect and dignity were upheld in the store. Everyone realized that her approach was strong, yet kind, and that it demanded attention and action. After finishing, Maya straightened her back and looked around the store. Her presence was quiet but commanding. She had shown that even in a tense and unfair situation, a person could remain composed, speak the truth, and stand tall. The entire store seemed to recognize her strength. And the lesson was clear. Respect cannot be ignored, and those who act unjustly must face accountability. Mr. Benson, the owner of the store, walked briskly through the front entrance. His expression was serious but calm, and he seemed to understand immediately that something important was happening. As he stepped inside, the soft hum of the store's music and the chatter of customers seemed to fade. All eyes turned toward him, including Mark, the manager, who suddenly looked nervous. Maya remained steady, her calm presence showing she was ready to explain the situation clearly. "Good morning, Maya," Mr. Benson said kindly, his eyes filled with concern. "I heard there was an issue. Can you tell me what happened?" Maya nodded politely and gestured toward the counter where the candies lay scattered. She spoke clearly and carefully, making sure every detail was explained. "Mr. Benson," she began, "I came to shop as I always do. I accidentally knocked over a small display of candies. I did not intend to cause any trouble. But the manager, Mark, shouted at me and then slapped my hand." She paused briefly, allowing the words to settle in. The customers and staff who had gathered listened silently. Her calm voice carried strength, and it was clear she was not exaggerating. Mr. Benson's eyes widened slightly and he frowned. "I see," he said softly, looking toward Mark. Mark shifted uneasily, unable to meet the owner's gaze. Maya continued, "This is not only about me. It is about respect. When someone treats others unfairly, it affects everyone. I hope you understand how serious this is, not just for me, but for your employees and customers as well." Mr. Benson nodded slowly. "I understand completely," he said. "Respect is the most important value in any business. I appreciate you telling me this directly, Maya. I want to make sure the store is a safe and welcoming place for everyone." Maya felt a small sense of relief. She had trusted Mr. Benson to listen and act fairly, and now she could see he was taking the situation seriously. She then addressed Mark gently but firmly. Mr. Mark, leadership is not about shouting or forcing people to obey. Leadership is about fairness, kindness, and respect. When a manager fails to act with these values, it affects the entire store. People notice, and it changes the way customers and staff feel. Mark swallowed hard and opened his mouth to speak, but Mr. Benson raised his hand slightly. "Please let Maya finish," he said. Maya nodded, continuing calmly. "I am not here to punish anyone. I'm here to ensure that everyone is treated with dignity. We all make mistakes, but it is important to correct them and set the right example." Mr. Benson looked around the store. The employees and customers were watching quietly, and he could see the tension in the air. He turned to Mark. "Maya is right," he said. "I expect all my managers to lead with respect and fairness. If someone fails to do this, there must be consequences. I will speak to the management team immediately." Maya smiled gently, appreciating Mr. Benson's willingness to listen. "Thank you," she said. "I know you value the community and your employees. That is why I came directly to you. I hope this can be resolved in the best way for everyone." Her calm words made the employees feel encouraged and the customers feel that the store was in trustworthy hands. Mr. Benson motioned for the management team to come to the office. One by one, the other managers entered, sensing that something serious was about to happen. Maya watched them carefully. She did not feel anger toward them personally, but she knew it was important that they understood the impact of their behavior. The room felt tense, but Maya's presence remained steady and calming. "I want everyone to listen," Mr. Benson said to the managers. "This situation has made it clear that respect and fairness are not optional. They are essential. Maya has shown courage by speaking up, and now we must act responsibly." The managers nodded, though their faces were uneasy. They could sense that this moment was more than a simple discussion. It was a lesson in leadership. Maya remained quiet, letting Mr. Benson speak, but she felt confident that change was coming. She knew that when people in power truly listened and acted with fairness, it could change the course of events for the better. The story in the store was far from over, but the first step toward justice and respect had been taken. The store felt quiet and tense as Mr. Benson looked around at his management team. Maya stood beside him, calm and composed, her eyes steady. She had said what needed to be said, and now it was time for action. She knew that respect and fairness could not wait. The employees and customers were watching closely, and everyone could sense that the situation was about to change. Mr. Benson addressed the managers firmly. "Leadership is not just about giving orders," he said. "It is about treating people with dignity and respect. Today, one of my managers failed in that responsibility. This behavior cannot be overlooked." He glanced at Mark, who shifted uneasily, avoiding eye contact. Maya's calm presence seemed to fill the room, and even Mark could feel the weight of her quiet authority. Maya spoke gently but with clarity. "I am not here to create anger or punish anyone," she said. "But fairness and respect are essential. When leaders act unfairly, it affects everyone: the staff, the customers, and the community. Mistakes happen, but leaders must take responsibility and learn from them. That is the only way a workplace can remain safe and welcoming." The managers listened, their expressions showing surprise and unease. They had not expected someone like Maya to speak with such calm confidence. Her words were not loud or harsh, yet they carried a strength that made it clear that change was needed. Employees in the store nodded silently, some feeling relieved that someone had stood up for fairness. Customers watched quietly, sensing that a lesson in responsibility was unfolding before them. Mr. Benson turned to Mark. "I believe you understand the seriousness of what happened today," he said. Mark swallowed hard and nodded. "Yes, sir," he said quietly. I understand." Maya did not interrupt him, but her eyes showed that she expected real change. This was not a moment for empty apologies. It was a moment for accountability. Mr. Benson then addressed the entire management team. "I have made a decision," he said. "We need to ensure that our store reflects the values we believe in. That means respect, fairness, and integrity in every action. I cannot allow anyone to lead who fails to uphold these values. Therefore, the management team will be held accountable starting immediately." The room fell silent. The other managers looked at each other, unsure what this would mean. Maya remained calm, her gaze steady. She had hoped for change, but she did not expect such immediate action. The employees watched in surprise, understanding that this moment would mark a turning point for the store. Mr. Benson continued, "We will be reviewing all leadership roles and making necessary changes. Anyone who cannot uphold fairness and respect cannot continue in a management position. I want this store to be a place where employees feel safe and customers feel welcomed. That is the priority." Maya nodded in agreement. "That is right," she said softly. "It is not about anger or punishment. It is about creating a safe and positive environment for everyone. Leadership is a responsibility, and it should be treated as such." Her words reinforced the seriousness of the moment. Employees and customers felt inspired by her calm wisdom. Some of the employees whispered quietly to each other. They admired Maya's courage and her ability to speak truth with respect and kindness. A few managers looked nervous, realizing that their actions would be carefully evaluated. The story of what had happened spread quickly in the store, and people sensed that important changes were coming. Maya stood silently for a moment, letting Mr. Benson take the lead. She knew that leadership required action, and now it was being taken. The tense energy in the room slowly shifted as employees realized that fairness and respect would no longer be optional. The store was beginning a new chapter, one where integrity would guide every decision, and everyone would understand that leadership was about responsibility, not power. The scene in the store that day was unforgettable. Maya's calm strength and wise words had created immediate consequences. Mark and the management team had been reminded that their actions mattered, and the employees and customers saw the power of speaking up for fairness. Change was beginning, and everyone could feel it. The store was unusually quiet as Mr. Benson gathered the management team in the office. The employees and customers had returned to their shopping, but the sense of anticipation lingered in the air. Maya remained nearby, standing with calm confidence. Her presence reminded everyone that fairness and respect could not be ignored, and that the decisions made in this moment would shape the store for the future. Mr. Benson looked at the managers one by one. His eyes were serious yet calm. "Today we faced a situation that revealed serious problems in leadership," he began. "One of our managers acted unfairly toward a valued customer. But this is bigger than a single incident. Leadership is about creating an environment where respect and kindness guide every decision. When a leader fails to uphold these values, the entire team suffers." Maya spoke quietly but clearly, ensuring her words reached everyone in the office. "It is not just about one person being treated unfairly," she said. "It is about creating a culture where everyone feels valued. Employees work harder, and customers return when they are treated with dignity. Leadership is not about control or authority. It is about fairness, accountability, and kindness." The manager shifted uneasily. Some lowered their eyes while others fidgeted nervously in their seats. They could feel the weight of Maya's calm words and the seriousness in Mr. Benson's voice. Maya did not look angry. She looked composed and firm. Her calm authority made it clear that she would not allow injustice to go unaddressed. Mr. Benson took a deep breath. "I appreciate you speaking honestly, Maya," he said. "You have reminded all of us of what true leadership means. And now I must make a decision. This is not easy, but it is necessary for the future of the store and for the people who work and shop here." Maya nodded silently. She knew that fairness required action, and she trusted that Mr. Benson would act wisely. The employees who had been watching from the aisles and counters knew that something important was happening. The atmosphere in the store was electric with anticipation, but also calm, as if everyone understood that justice and respect were about to take priority. Mr. Benson continued, his voice firm. "After careful consideration, I have decided to relieve the entire management team of their duties, effective immediately. This includes anyone who failed to uphold the values of respect, fairness, and accountability. Leadership must be earned, and it must be guided by kindness and integrity." The managers were stunned. Some looked shocked while others opened their mouths as if to protest. Maya remained calm, her expression gentle but unwavering. She had not come seeking punishment for anyone personally. She had come seeking fairness, and now she saw that action was being taken to ensure a positive future for the store. Mr. Benson then turned to the employees. "I will be reorganizing the management team and hiring new leaders who understand the importance of respect and fairness. This will be a new beginning, where every customer and employee feels valued." Maya spoke softly, her voice carrying warmth and wisdom. "This is a lesson for everyone," she said. "Leadership is not about authority. It is about guiding with respect, setting an example, and being accountable. When leaders fail, it affects everyone. Today, a positive change has begun." The managers slowly stood and left the office, some looking embarrassed, others thoughtful. The employees watched quietly, sensing that a turning point had arrived. Maya's calm courage and Mr. Benson's decisive action had created a clear message. Fairness and respect were no longer optional. As the former managers exited the store, employees whispered to each other. They felt inspired by Maya's bravery and by the swift, fair action taken by Mr. Benson. Customers also noticed the change in atmosphere. The store no longer felt tense or uncomfortable. Instead, it felt lighter, welcoming, and more positive. Maya stood near the counter, her hands resting on her cane. She watched quietly as the employees adjusted to the new atmosphere. She had not shouted or demanded punishment. She had acted with calm strength and clear wisdom. And now, the store reflected the values she had spoken about: fairness, respect, and accountability. It was a bold decision, but a necessary one. Maya knew that the store would now become a model of respect and fairness. Her courage and patience had made a difference, proving that one person standing up for what is right can inspire real change. The store felt lighter and calmer after the management team had left. Employees moved with a sense of relief, smiling at one another and quietly discussing the changes. Maya remained near the front, her cane resting lightly against her side. She watched as the staff adjusted to the new atmosphere, feeling satisfied that fairness and respect were finally taking priority. Some employees whispered to each other about what had happened. "I never imagined this could happen so quickly," said one young worker, her eyes wide with amazement. Another nodded. "It feels good to know that respect really matters here," he said. They looked at Maya with gratitude, realizing that her courage had inspired positive change for everyone. Mr. Benson returned to the front, checking in with the employees and talking to customers. He greeted Maya warmly. "Thank you again for speaking up," he said. "You reminded me and everyone else that leadership is about more than titles. It is about values. Today you helped me make a decision that will change this store for the better." Maya smiled politely. "I only wanted to ensure fairness for everyone," she said. "Respect should guide all decisions, and now it will." The customers began to notice the difference as well. Shoppers who had been hesitant earlier now felt welcomed. Smiles returned to faces, and the small store, which had seemed tense, now felt friendly and calm. People whispered to one another, impressed by the courage of Maya and the decisive actions of the owner. Many realized that this incident had created a positive change that would benefit everyone in the community. Maya moved slowly down one of the aisles, greeting employees and customers. "Good morning," she said warmly. "I am glad to see everyone feeling better." Her presence was comforting. Staff members felt inspired to act with kindness and fairness, knowing that leadership and respect were the priority. The store now seemed like a place where people wanted to be, not just to shop but to work and interact with others in a positive environment. A young cashier named Daniel approached Maya carefully. "Miss Maya, thank you for helping us," he said softly. "I felt nervous before, but you showed us how to stay calm and stand for what is right." Maya placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Courage comes in many forms," she said kindly. "Speaking calmly and clearly is just as powerful as speaking loudly. You did well by observing and supporting fairness." Even customers who had witnessed the earlier incident felt inspired. One elderly woman approached Maya and said, "You reminded all of us that respect is more important than anger. It takes courage to speak calmly and firmly. Thank you for standing up for fairness." Maya smiled. "We all have the ability to create positive change," she said. "Sometimes it just takes one person to remind others of what is right." Throughout the day, the store ran smoothly. Employees moved confidently, helping customers and supporting one another. Mr. Benson made several calls to hire new managers who valued respect and fairness. Staff members shared their ideas for improving teamwork and customer service, knowing that their opinions mattered. Maya observed quietly, proud that her actions had helped create a better environment for everyone. By the afternoon, it was clear that a transformation had taken place. The tension that had filled the store earlier in the day had completely vanished. Laughter, conversation, and friendly greetings returned. The employees felt encouraged, the customers felt welcomed, and the store seemed alive with positive energy. Maya's calm courage had inspired real change, and the staff was ready to continue building a respectful and supportive environment. As Maya left the store later that day, she waved to the employees and customers. She felt a quiet sense of satisfaction. She had not sought recognition or reward. She had simply acted with calm strength and fairness, and in doing so, had helped the store begin a new chapter. One person's courage had reminded everyone of the importance of respect, and now the store had a bright and positive future. Days passed, and the small grocery store began to feel completely different. The tense energy that had once filled the aisles was gone, replaced with a warm and welcoming atmosphere. Employees moved confidently, smiling at one another and at the customers. They worked together as a team, making sure everyone who came into the store felt respected and valued. Maya continued to visit the store, as she always had. Every time she walked in, employees greeted her warmly and customers nodded in recognition. She smiled politely at each person, happy to see the positive changes that had taken place. What had started as a tense confrontation had now become a story of courage, fairness, and respect. Maya's calm and wise actions had created lasting change. Mr. Benson had worked hard to reorganize the management team. He hired new managers who understood the importance of treating everyone with dignity. These new leaders encouraged the employees, listened to their ideas, and promoted fairness in every decision. The store began to thrive not just in business but in its culture. Employees were happier, customers returned more often, and the store became a model of respect in the community. Maya often walked through the aisles, observing quietly. She noticed the young cashier helping a customer patiently, the stock clerk assisting an elderly shopper with a smile, and the employees working together seamlessly. Each interaction reminded her that change was possible when people acted with kindness and courage. Maya had taught everyone a valuable lesson. Leadership is not about authority, but about integrity, respect, and accountability. One afternoon, a group of employees gathered near the counter. They spoke softly among themselves, reflecting on the past few days. "I never realized how important respect really is," said one young worker. "I thought being strict was the way to lead, but now I see that kindness and fairness make a bigger difference." Another nodded. Maya showed us that standing up calmly for what is right can create real change. I want to follow that example every day. Customers also noticed the difference. Many who had shopped during the tense incident returned, smiling and greeting the staff warmly. They commented on the positive atmosphere, saying that it felt like a different store altogether. The story of Maya's courage spread through the neighborhood, inspiring others to speak up when they saw unfairness or injustice. People realized that one person could make a difference by acting with calm confidence and integrity. Maya's impact extended beyond the store itself. Friends and neighbors often asked her about the incident, curious about how she had managed to remain calm and assertive. She explained gently, "When we act with respect and patience, people listen. Standing firm for what is right does not need to involve anger. Calmness, honesty, and kindness are stronger than any loud words or harsh actions." The employees began to follow her example, not just in dealing with customers but in how they treated each other. They listened more carefully, spoke more respectfully, and worked together to support one another. The store had become a place of learning where everyone could grow, both professionally and personally. The small community surrounding the store began to notice the change, seeing it as a place where values mattered as much as service. Maya smiled quietly as she walked through the store one last time that afternoon. She felt proud, not of herself, but of the change that had taken place. One moment of courage and calm had turned a difficult situation into an opportunity for growth, learning, and leadership. The store now stood as a symbol of fairness, respect, and the power of integrity. As she left the store, Maya knew that the lesson she had shared would continue to inspire others. Respect, fairness, and courage were qualities everyone could practice. She had shown that standing up for what is right, even in a small place, could create a ripple effect, changing not just a single store, but the lives of employees, customers, and the entire community. Maya had reminded everyone that true leadership comes from the heart, and that one person's actions could spark lasting and meaningful change.